Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rebecca if you're new here. And today's video is going to be a talk about Slimming World versus calorie counting. And this is all my personal experience, so it's only based on my opinion. Obviously everyone else will have a different one. I have tried both Slimming World and calorie counting. I'm currently still on my journey. I am 3 stone down, which I am so grateful for. Slimming World for me, it worked, but for me in my lifestyle, my work that I do shift work, it was just hard to just carry on going to group, because my group that I did go to was at 7:30, and I used to get there really early, be one of the first people in the queue to just get in, get weighed and get out. I think I stayed to the meetings maybe twice. The group that I went to, there wasn't particularly any feedback, any advice, any help. I guess obviously every group is different, but the one that I attended, it was just a case of she went round every person that stayed. There was no sort of advice on better foods. It was just like, oh, here's the plan, how's everyone doing individually, and that was it. So I started to find that group just wasn't working out for me. I then decided to join online because it was easier, and then at least I was still doing something and sticking to it. I did set up an Instagram account with somewhere to look back on the meals that I'd had, because I did also try meal planning and writing it all down, which I love doing. So if that's something you want to look at, I'll leave the link down below, because I still carry on doing that, but it's more geared toward calorie counting. But I'll leave the link for that down below if you're interested. I lost 2 stone with Slimming World, and that was between going to group, doing it online, then thinking what's the point, I know the plan, so I may as well save my money, and I started to do it myself. So I started to find that I was binge eating. Weigh day was coming round, like I said, it was at like 7:30, so I wasn't eating all day. I was going to work, coming home, getting straight out to then go and queue up to get weighed. And the next day was just, I would just binge, because I'd basically starved myself the day before, which is so bad, because I was thinking, oh, I don't want to sabotage myself on the scales, which is so stupid. I don't even know why I was doing something like that. I felt like I was having too much pressure on myself. It's something you need to put your mind to doing, and you've got to really want to do it. And sometimes even when you really want to change, it's almost like the head in the heart situation. You know you want something, but you're just not ready yet, and you'll do it when it's ready and when it's right for you. There is no rule of what you should weigh and what you should look like. Your best place to be is your happy place, and that is all that matters. I personally don't have a goal weight or a goal size at the minute. All I know is that where I'm at right now, I'm not quite there yet, so I'll just keep going, and I'll know when I get to where I feel happy. I don't think that can be solely defined by the number in the clothes that you're buying, because let's face it, the clothes shops, you could be one size in one and another size in another, or in some stores you can literally pick up 2 of the same item, like jeans in Primark. I've had this before, where they're the same style, same like brand of whatever they are. Try one size on, they fit, got another colour, and they didn't fit. So I don't think you can solely rely on sizing and what the number on the scale say and all of that. It's all about how you feel, what works for you, what's right for you, and that's all that matters. And we all know that you could get a lineup of women or men and they all weigh the same, but their body shapes, all of them wear a different size clothes. Slimming World works. I lost 2 stone with it, and then I plateaued, and it was like, but I'm doing everything I should and I wasn't getting results, and this went on for months and I just wasn't getting anywhere. It was frustrating. Then you're on plan, you're off plan, you're on plan, you're off plan. That sentence there, on plan, off plan, is where a lot of my problem starts with. Food's food. It shouldn't matter. If you fancy something, then it shouldn't matter whether you think, well, that's better, that's good, that's bad. Obviously different, if you get into the macros of things and the nutrients levels and you're looking at stuff like that, obviously things are going to sustain you longer, have better fats and all those different things. I'm not a dietitian. I just found that I was picking up way too many bad habits, was looking at the whole on plan, off plan, good food, bad food thing, free food. So the logic of, I'll eat as much as you like of that until you're full. But then if you were to look at it from a calorific point of view, you'd be eating a lot. So I just found it was too much. And it was too much pressure on myself, going to the groups and all of that. So it's got to be on your own terms how you do things. We are all conscious of the number that it says, And some of us don't want that to be common knowledge. And that's fair enough. So sometimes you feel you're quite vulnerable in those situations. And some people don't have the best manners or tact when it comes to saying how you've done. And that can be an issue as well. So as it got to the point where I plateaued for so long, I decided to give calorie counting a try. I couldn't get my head around it. I was like, the idea of weighing stuff, every last little number or something to figure out what the calories are, was going to do my head in. And that's half the reason why I thought, oh, Slimming World's easy, because you've got this and this is free. These are your sins of, you can have so many a day. So that's one con is that you don't have to weigh as much. Obviously there is meant to be some food weighing involved in Slimming World with your sources. Anything that's got a sin value, like even down to your A and your B, so your dairy or your fibre, you're meant to weigh it. It's all meant to be specific, because they always say how many extra sins a week you could be consuming based on not measuring your cheese or your milk, or weighing out how many grams of chocolate you've had. So it's involved in both, and I think it's just making that, once you try it, you get through the first day. Best thing I did was I downloaded an app called Lose It. I've got it on my phone. You pretty much, when you scan a barcode, 99% of the time the food's listed and the information's correct. Otherwise it's really easy to add the information in yourself. There's recipes you can make yourself, so things that you cook a lot of, you've already got it there and you can tweak it and edit them all the time. It makes life so easy when calorie counting, for me personally. I know there's also MyFitnessPal. There are quite a few different things out there that can be used. So I like to log, I like to know where I'm at. It gives you a breakdown of how many calories you've got left, so you don't have to constantly check it and count it yourself, writing it down. It helps. I like the fact that I can have what it is that I fancy and put it into my allowance. Even if I say there's some days where I don't use all my allowance, I know, say, if you're a weekend person, that's where your kind of downfall is, you fall off of where you're headed and on your track that you're on, then if the few that you don't eat during the week adds up to the ones that you're going to consume then if you're a weekend binger. I think it's creating that thing, have what you want, but it's back to moderation. I also recently started adding in exercise. Now that is something I never thought I would do. It's just little half-an-hour cardio workouts. I find things here on YouTube and I do them, and some of them are hard, but others I find something that's I can do. I push myself, but I don't push myself really hard because I don't want to hurt myself either. And if you find something that much of a chore, you're going to find that you stop doing it anyway. So if you build up a bit more, it'll be a lot easier for you. Calorie counting, I find that I like the fact that I have the freedom to have what I like, and there is no, oh, well, should you be having that? I'm on plan or off plan. If I want to have chocolate, I can have it, but I can have, if I want toast in the morning and then a sandwich for lunch, I'm not going to be, oh no, I've wasted all, I've had my B and now all my sins on some bread. Because day-to-day food, like, you do tend to have them things repetitively, especially with work and different things, or if you're studying, and you tend to prepare the same foods. And it's that restriction of milk as well. So like if you had a large coffee and you might want cereal, it's like, well, oh, now I'm run out of milk, now I've got to use sins for it. And it just, I like to have freedom of choice more so. So that's what I've preferred to calorie counting. So with calorie counting over Slimming World, is that I have a higher, better choice for the foods that I tend to enjoy. It's now completely got me out of the plateau that I was on. I've been losing weight. I've now lost another stone. So that brings me the total up to 3 stone loss. And it finally got me into a stone bracket that I haven't seen for a good few years. So it's working for me. Obviously everyone's different. And like anything, it takes consistency and it isn't linear. You're never going to get a time where it's just constant losses and you just progress up and up and up, or down, whichever way you want to look at it. It's built up of ups and downs. For a female, you might find that you'll have days where your menstrual cycle is going to have an effect. Where you are in your menstrual cycle is going to have an effect on what the scales say. You can't just go by what the number on the scale says. So this brings me back to a point too. You have to look at other aspects of where you're losing. So take measurements, take before photos, take the number on the scales, have a pair of trousers or something that you want to try on, and if they come up a bit more or they're a bit tighter, and work with that. Have different progress points, different things to look at, because you might find that the scales don't change but you've dropped a dress size. it's never going to be linear, and it took a lot for me to accept that. I expect that if I'm dieting, if I've been doing it 24 hours, I want to see like half a stone off on the scales, but it isn't like that. And frustrating, I know, it'd be great if it was, but it's not. We didn't get here overnight. We're not going to get away from it overnight. I prefer calorie counting Slimming World. I've experienced both. I've lost weight on both. But for me, I find calorie counting more sustainable. Trust me, if you do a day of calorie counting after I've always been on Slimming World, you will not believe the amount of calories that you would be consuming in a day. It's mind-blowing. I couldn't believe it. And if you write that to days where you don't even follow anything, don't realise how much calories you do consume, then you get used to the calories of certain foods. And I think that for me is gonna serve me better in the long run, because when it comes to certain meals, I know that's roughly about that. And you don't always have to get that very down to the last little calorie and know exactly where you are. It's not that extreme. It's having a very basic knowledge, and it's all learning. I'm learning. I went into this with no idea. It does sound like a lot at first, but once you get into the swing of it, like anything, once you do it for a few days and then you've done it for a week, I've personally found it easier. The results are generally consistent. I've been aiming for £1 a week, but sometimes I get more, sometimes I get slightly less, but that's pretty much sustainable loss. I'd rather go slowly and sustain it than go drastic, which we all would love to be able to just lose weight like that, but that has a higher chance of it going on. So I used to find that on days where I might think, oh, I've got this planned or whatever, and not with calories, I don't really see a large difference on the scale come weigh day. Whereas with Slimming World, if I had a day where I was busy, I was going out or doing something, that would show very quickly on the scales. So I guess everyone is, like I've said before, is different. I just find calorie counting far easier now. For me, it's sustainable long term. It's more enjoyable. There's less pressure on yourself. You don't have to be going to groups and weigh-ins, and you're just doing it yourself. It's just being in a calorie deficit. That is the main point. Calories burned, calories consumed. And literally I'm stayed within a 500 calorie deficit. That's pretty much a standard level to be at, and it works. I like to know what I'm going to have for my dinner, and then work my calories out for what that's going to be, so I know that by the time I come to dinner, I'll have enough calories in the bank for it. Because there's nothing worse than getting to the end of the day and thinking, right, I'm going to have my dinner now, and the thing that you've been fancying all day is going to take you way over. It's just frustrating. I like to just plan at least my dinner. I try to increase my protein, because protein apparently keeps you fuller for longer. Calorie counting has got me in a better mindset than Slimming World has, because I just wasn't coping well, like I said, with the on-plan, off-plan, good food, bad food logic. I think it was just creating more of an issue with food for me than it did helping me. And I don't think that's something that I could focus on for the rest of my life, is living off, oh no, I can only have 15 sins a day. It's just for me, it's not logical. I can't do it. It's more about knowing what you can have. There's freedom to eat whatever you like, just basically in moderation. And for me, that moderation is within my calorie allowance, and I just keep going with that. If there's anything in this or what you found easier, if you've tried both, drop a comment down below. If you prefer Slimming World to calorie counting, what stops you from trying one or the other? How you're doing on your journey. I'm definitely want to help, and I'd like to get help from others. I think it's good to support each other and know sometimes there's great communities amongst strangers, and you don't realise that the support that some people will give to each other and you've never even met. There's a lot of that. Like I said, I do have an Instagram account specifically for that. I will link that below. For me, Slimming World caused me to binge eat more. I felt more restricted. Calorie counting, I have what I fancy at the point of fancying it and not thinking, oh, I'll wait for weigh day, because I can just include it in my allowance and it's fine. You don't think nothing of it. I think I find that I eat less now, not because I've consciously made that effort, because I'm having the things that I fancy and putting it into my diet instead of looking at all the things I need to take out. So for me, that's a major point of why I'm more into calorie counting now than I am Slimming World. It worked in the beginning, but it just wasn't, it's not sustainable for me. And I think sometimes you're on a journey, you're kind of always going to be on that journey. It doesn't take too much mind space. You're just able to just think, well, that's this, bung it into an app, and you haven't got to think about it. It's all done for you. And that for me is why I carry carry on calorie counting over Slimming World. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Give it a thumbs up and definitely click the bell if you want to see more videos like this and know when I upload. What would you like to see from me next, guys? Anything you want to drop in the comments below, and definitely give it a subscribe. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.